What's going on, guys? It's Chris Toro. That's right, God of War cured my depression and made me rethink my beliefs as a human being. God of War is the second coming. Though it may be blasphemous to say, after I finished God of War, I saw Jesus' eyes. While playing God of War, my controller fell on my blind cat and cured its blindness. While playing God of War, my HD TV turned into a 4K TV. After completing all the Valkyrie challenges, I developed a six-pack just like Kratos. But in all seriousness, it's an amazing game, but some of you guys gotta calm down. I just recently beat this new God of War, but I also played the previous 5 iterations. And considering you fight skyscraper-sized titans in 2 and 3, I'm not exactly new to the franchise, but this new sequel does stand out with its presentation. The director is clearly very skilled, along with the other developers and cast, and he seems to use that style of over-the-shoulder appropriately. Personally, before I started playing, I thought that perspective would be a little too close, especially for a game like God of War, and might have minimized the more epic scenes. But fortunately, I was wrong about that. Games as of late have taken a Hollywood turn in style and storytelling, and this defined style helps God of War almost reach a perfect tone. It's impressive in nearly every way, but it's still a single-player game, so for some people saying that they're abandoning Xbox completely just for this game doesn't really make a lot of sense because multiplayer is what Xbox is mostly about, at least for me. A lot of videos out there are over-exaggerating how good this game is, just a bit, and I see this a lot especially with games and movies that get a lot of premature backlash. Sometimes it's all the negativity towards that specific title that makes that good that stands out that much more prominent. And considering PlayStation doesn't usually get a lot of big exclusives, God of War is a very important game for the system, almost as much as The Last of Us 2. So considering how much was hinging on this game, it only makes sense that people are over-exaggerating how much they love it. But there are a few things I want to note about God of War. First, the gameplay reminds me of Bloodborne and Dark Souls. It has that visceral over-the-shoulder look, with the timing of the dodging and strike mechanics being the most important in its formula. So it's not extremely revolutionary with its gameplay style, but I'm assuming a lot of casual gamers went to God of War expecting an epic, but then getting all of these challenging elements to it, which is why some people are uploading videos saying that this game made them rethink their ability as a gamer, when clearly the difficulty and the gameplay were inspired by Dark Souls. So I can see that being a pleasant curveball to some people that picked this game up. But suffice it to say, it's been done before, and yes, God of War does have amazing bosses, but a franchise like Dark Souls and Bloodborne are kind of known for their bosses. So with God of War's Dragon Ball Z style fighting sometimes, and epic huge bosses, I can see why that would work well with that Dark Souls-esque type of gameplay that God of War is adopting. And the director was smart by mixing Kratos' weapons with that style of gameplay. They work perfectly together, and with the help of that meaningful storytelling and even side missions, God of War has some things that even Dark Souls wish it had, which is a comprehensive and full story. Even though sometimes I do wonder if they could have just taken a shortcut and done this one task instead of go through an entire 3-hour stage just to complete very simple things. But on average, the game takes around 16 to 17 hours to beat, so that is a good way to get more gameplay in there. And besides the gameplay, the tones are similar to some other games that came previously, namely The Last of Us, with the main protagonist being almost too old to be in action and helping a new generation get by, like Kratos and Joel are doing, with this specific title being kind of their redemption, just like Joel and Kratos, and the main older protagonist seemingly not tolerating their younger counterpart, like Joel acted with Ellie most of the time. But it makes a lot of sense that games nowadays would take an impression from The Last of Us, since it was one of the best games ever made, and I don't see many games doing that kind of specific storyline enough to say that games are copying off of it too much, so it is refreshing to see that kind of storyline again. And no doubt The Last of Us 2 is going to be a lot different from the first, seeing how Joel might be dead, and I don't think they're going to kill off Kratos anytime soon and just leave us with his son. It seems the likely scenario would be we'll be playing as Kratos until his son becomes a man, and until he becomes an interesting character enough and ready to take the mantle. And regardless of all these similarities in tone and gameplay, personally I'm impressed with it, and I can't get enough of these styles of gameplay and storytelling, especially through the eyes of a god like Kratos. So yes, God of War is popular right now, but so is the internet social circles. If games like God of War 1 and Devil May Cry 1 came out today, people would be talking about them just as much, if not more. And possibly just like with the Nintendo Switch, the internet is definitely bloating and escalating their popularity. Hype is a very strong thing, especially when it's surrounding you 24/7, i.e. your phone. But to the people saying ridiculous things like God of War made them rethink their abilities as a gamer or something of the sort, that's just the internet hype talking. It's a great game, don't get me wrong, but it's not the Bible or the second coming, so relax about it. Besides all this nonsense, let me know what you enjoyed about the new God of War, and not how it cured your color blindness or made you walk again. What did you actually enjoy about it? Let everybody know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys. Later.